Hello everyone! I'm really excited to have you back. Today, I've got an awesome new video that continues Cassian's story from the comic, Villain to Kill. If you missed the last one, I suggest checking it out for it will help you understand the storyline better. After leaving his house, Cassian makes his way to the school, which is filled with the usual chatter of the students, which seems louder because of the incident at the mall. Meanwhile, in his classroom, the students look with surprise and shock as one of the bullies, beaten up by Cassian, sits, his face still bruised. Frustrated by the whispers circulating about him being overpowered despite his strength, he turns to one of the groups, instantly instilling fear and halting their conversations. Channeling his irritation, he raises his voice, prompting them to look away and intensifying their apprehension. Recalling the beating he endured at the hands of Cassian, he resolves to avenge himself, just when someone places a hand on his shoulder, causing him to turn around in frustration. However, when he finds Cassian standing behind him, he becomes a little shocked as Cassian inquires where his seat is. Feeling apprehensive, he points to the seat in front of him, and Cassian goes there, puts his bag down, and takes the seat. While sitting there, he overhears a discussion between his classmates regarding the mall incident but feigns ignorance to avoid suspicion. Meanwhile, the students go on to discuss the resurgence of serial killings in the city, uncovering the tragic death of a high school girl. During the discussion, one student expresses a suspicion that a notorious figure known as Screwdriver is behind the serial killings. This revelation shocks the others, especially considering that Screwdriver is the ruler of the Villzone of Gadam, the district. Upon learning about the existence of a Villzone in Gadam, Cassian is taken aback. Meanwhile, the students go on to discuss that Screwdriver is killing people just for the sake of his new experiment, causing Cassian's curiosity about those villains to increase further. In a parallel development, outside the school, the bullies previously confronted by Cassian enlist the assistance of a group of thugs to exact revenge on him, compensating them for their services. The leader of the thugs, enticed by the offered payment, agrees to aid them, and together they depart from the school to look for Cassian. Upon leaving the class, Cassian navigates through the corridor when a voice calls out from behind, prompting him to turn around in bewilderment. To his surprise, Kim Woo-chan stands there, inquiring about the facial injuries sustained during their recent altercation. Cassian, pointing to the bandage on his face, informs him that the wound is still in the process of healing. Witnessing this interaction, Morose recalls a previous occasion when he questioned Cassian about the bandage on a fully healed wound. Cassian had clarified that it was a precautionary measure, intended to avert suspicion should he encounter Kim Woo-chan again. Reflecting on this, he appreciates Cassian's strategic intelligence in making such a move. Meanwhile, Cassian redirects his attention to Kim Woo-chan, inquiring about his intentions. Just as Kim Woo-chan is on the verge of disclosing the purpose of his visit, he notices someone discreetly observing them. Deeming it inappropriate to delve into the actual reason under surveillance, Kim Woo-chan tactfully shifts the conversation. Cassian, displaying disinterest, begins to turn away, indicating his reluctance to engage in further discussion. However, before Cassian can make his exit, Kim Woo-chan stops him once again, seeking to know his name. Cassian reluctantly reveals it to be Gangu Guan, the identity of his body's original owner. As Cassian leaves the school, he confides in Morose about his unease concerning Kim Woo-chan. Cassian discloses that Kim Woo-chan is not only a proficient flame user with impressive academic prowess but also a promising psyker, excelling in both appearance and intellect. Above everything else, he reveals that Kim Woo-chan idolizes none other than Cassian Lee, the former top-tier psyker, something which surprises Morose. In reflecting on Kim Woo-chan's talent and potential, Cassian expresses his belief that Kim should have opted for a psyker school rather than a regular one, given his remarkable abilities. While Morose is speaking, he suddenly notices the same group of boys following them and becomes annoyed at their persistent trailing. Simultaneously, one of the boys makes a call to his companion, informing him about the close surveillance of Cassian. Hearing this, the fellow, the same bully who hired the thugs, instructs them to proceed forward with their mission, and they promptly leave. Meanwhile, Cassian walks out of the city and makes his way to the Villzone, causing the boys following him to become confused about his move. While they are wondering why he would venture into such a dangerous place, someone calls out to them from behind. Startled, they turn around to find their comrades approaching. The leader, concerned about Cassian's whereabouts, inquires about him, prompting one of the group members to point in the direction they last saw him. To their astonishment, Cassian is nowhere to be found at the spot, leaving them bewildered and confused. Convinced they have witnessed him heading in a particular direction, the group hastily decides to pursue him, determined not to lose sight of him and eager to unravel the mystery. As they enter the Ville Zone, hopeful of finding him, the group encounters a confusing dead end, leaving them bewildered. Turning back, their leader seeks confirmation from the boys trailing Cassian, and they affirm having seen him taking that route. Growing frustrated with the misleading information, the leader of the thugs impulsively unleashes a forceful kick, inflicting intense pain on one of the boys. In this tense moment, a voice emerges from behind, inquiring if they are searching for him. This unexpected interruption prompts them to turn around in confusion, revealing Cassian standing there. As they confront each other, their interaction is captured by a surveillance camera nearby. Meanwhile, in one of the Ville Zone buildings, a person who appears to be a villain eagerly observes the footage, excited to witness intruders in their territory. Meanwhile, the thugs and bullies, taken aback, observe Cassian standing with a calm demeanor, unfazed by their presence. Despite their surprise, Cassian's composed expression seems to unsettle them. Considering him overly confident, one of the thugs advances towards him, commanding Cassian to kneel within the next 3 seconds, threatening him with punishment for messing with the bullies. With that, he starts the countdown while Cassian keeps standing still, having no trace of fear on his face. As the countdown concludes, Cassian remains rooted in place, unmoved. Perplexed by his seemingly fearless demeanor, the thug approaches, questioning if Cassian seeks death. Responding with a disdainful comment about the thug's combat skills, Cassian surprises him with a sudden devastating attack, inducing intense agony. Seizing the thug by his hair, Cassian forcefully propels him into the wall, prompting the onlookers to freeze in astonishment. Enraged by this audacious act, another thug charges at Cassian, intent on retaliation. However, Cassian deftly evades the attack, swiftly altering his course with a calculated move. As the thug remains disoriented, Cassian swiftly maneuvers, delivering a forceful kick from behind that sends the individual sprawling to the ground, rendering him motionless. Fueled by frustration at their misguided aggression, Cassian remarks that he had initially intended to show leniency but was compelled to reconsider, deeming it necessary to impart a valuable lesson. Without hesitation, he then delivers a decisive blow to the incapacitated thug and then turns to the bullies, inquiring whether they still intend to pursue an attack. In that moment, the thug leader, previously sprawled on the ground, regains his footing, his eyes ablaze with fury, prompting Cassian to question if he had been too lenient. Assuming a martial arts posture, he then prepares for a genuine confrontation with Cassian, eliciting anticipation from the onlooking bullies. As Cassian observes the stance, memories flood back to his early days at the Psyker's training academy. A parallel scenario unfolds when a senior, a skilled striker, challenged him, underestimating Cassian as a novice. However, Jack, a comrade, unveiled Cassian's prowess in close combat. This revelation proved true as Cassian triumphed over the seasoned striker, leaving their peers astounded. Recalling this, Cassian employs the same combat techniques against the thug, swiftly incapacitating him once more and leaving his adversary visibly stunned. The realization hits Cassian that individuals like this thug, driven by unchecked power, are the root cause of suffering for people like Jeff, Gangu, and even himself. Fueled by a surge of anger, Cassian intensifies his assault, delivering consecutive strikes. In the midst of this confrontation, another bully glances upward, only to be met with a sense of shock and terror as they witness the presence of a menacing figure overseeing the scene. Suspended in the air above them, wielding a colossal screwdriver, the figure reveals themselves to be Driver, the ruler of the Ville Zone, leaving the bullies shocked. Growing increasingly apprehensive of Driver, the bullies swiftly turn around and sprint away, avoiding any interaction with him while Cassian remains stationary. Once they are out of sight, he turns to face the Driver, attributing him as the potential perpetrator behind the recent murder cases, while Driver lands on the ground. Finding the situation intriguing, Driver asserts that he arrived to help Cassian, perceiving him as someone in danger. However, upon discovering that the situation was opposite of what he expected, he expresses his astonishment. Unfazed, Cassian maintains his indifferent demeanor, stating that he never sought assistance in the first place, prompting Driver to burst into laughter. Observing Cassian's rigid demeanor, Driver inquires if he is unaware of his identity. Cassian refutes this assumption, revealing his knowledge of Driver's true persona. Infusing his screwdriver with electric energy, Driver expresses astonishment at Cassian's lack of fear despite being cognizant of his real identity. Elevating the screwdriver and pointing it at Cassian, Driver asserts that entering the realm of villains should have prepared Cassian for such encounters. However, contrary to expectations, instead of emitting a formidable electric beam, the screwdriver unexpectedly releases a flower, followed by Driver exclaiming that it was just a joke. Abruptly adopting a serious tone, he asserts that he could unleash his true abilities if Cassian harbors any ill intentions in their territory. Cassian, unfazed, simply turns around and begins to walk away, declaring his intention to return home, leaving Driver in a state of confusion. On their way back, Moros reflects on the perilous nature of Cassian's confrontation with Driver, recognizing that, given his current capabilities, Cassian is ill-equipped to contend with a formidable adversary like him. Cassian, responding with silence, retreats to a corner, facing the wall. Moros interprets this as a sign of potential disappointment stemming from the encounter. However, to his surprise, Cassian transforms into a villain, stating that it is the best chance for him to fight someone stronger and gain more strength. According to him, the best training for becoming strong is a battle between life and death, and his fight with Driver is an opportunity that he will never miss. Will Cassian truly engage in this relentless clash? If yes, what will the outcome of this battle be? To find it out, stay tuned for the upcoming videos.